This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We want to just say thank you for making us your first listen and view of the day. Remember, we are free and available wherever you download your podcast, and wherever you download your podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. As you can see, I am live out here at Flowery Branch. Oh my God, I got so much stuff for you all. So make sure you go to our community page on Locked On Sports Atlanta. We're going to have so much video, so much stuff for you from our first day out at Flowery Branch at Falcons training camp. We definitely got some good stuff on board for you today. We got to talk about the Braves. They're getting back on the diamond tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't know if I should have put that on there or not because they haven't been playing that well. And Kyle Wright is on the mound. So, T, I think we should be doing good about that. I'm going to give you a couple observations about what I saw out there today. Tenitra went out there with me, but she's going to get out there. And you know my girl got all the observations for you. And when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons, last but not least, it's the wing day. And we'll talk about that in For the Culture. So, yeah, no introduction, no tease. But, T, we have to talk about the Atlanta Braves. They start a 3-game series over the weekend against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Obviously, last time the Braves played against the Arizona Diamondbacks, they lost that series finale like they've been doing. They've been pretty good at that as of late, but they end up on a 14-game winning streak. Is that something we need to look forward to? Because we know there are a lot of issues with Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson, and all of those things like that. And coming up on the trade deadline, I think there's something that we got to keep an eye out for, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you. This is a homestand that I feel confident and strongly that they need to go 5-0. So to start off, let's go on a 5-0 homestand run, right? Because that's going to run you right into that New York Mets series, which is an all-important series up in Queens, right? So yeah, I think we stay standing where you and I stood a few days ago. Like, yeah, you need to go on some deep runs because with your strength of schedule, roughly the same as the Mets, as they continue to move forward with wins, you've got to keep pace with them so that hopefully you can overtake them in the end. So yeah, I definitely think so. And again, I listened to some old post-game sound from Brian Snicker this morning, and he made a comment that I thought was interesting that was kind of similar to what he said after the Phillies game, just in terms of we've got the guns, right? All we need to do is get our heads right, and all we need to do is get set to go out on a run. That was the thing that he said that last time. They had a come to Jesus moment. You just talked about what it was. And after that, so Jarvis, I'd be interested to know if they had at least a mini come to Jesus moment as they're going into a very important stretch on the schedule.
No doubt about it. And that's the thing, like this is the type of series that you kind of get yourself together, right? You gather yourself, you try to get things going, and you kind of look at what it is that you need to do in order for you to continue to stay where you are, right? In the division, which is close to the New York Knicks as you get ready to go. Like you said, you get ready to go up to Gotham and try to take division have the opportunity to take over the division. And that's exactly what you want to do. And it's good to have a guy on the mound in Kyle Wright, because I believe that Kyle Wright is a guy that, he's been solid for you. He had 10 wins before for the All-Star break. Those are the type of numbers that we haven't seen in quite some time. That's the type of stuff we used to seeing when the likes of John Smoltz and Tom Glavine and the likes of those guys were on the mound. So I think that with Max Fried on the mound, I think that the Braves will be prime and ready to get a win tonight. And we'll talk about whether or not this is a do or die situation. But T, tell the folks about BetOnline, about what they have going on.
Yeah. And one thing that you can bet on is that Jarvis is going to give us all the details, all the tea about what happened with the Falcons. And one thing you can bet on for sure for betonline.net is that it is your number one source for all things betting needs and sports info. So you can find out all the latest sports developments, league reviews, news, including Major League Baseball, once training camp kicks in, once preseason kicks in, what's the over under going to be for the Falcons as far as win loss? That's information you can get at betonline.net. And also sporting wagering information. And I say that because some people may be new to the whole betting thing because of course it's legalized in more and more states as we go along. But if you're new to it, they even have podcasts and news to really help you get up to speed on live betting, esports scores, niche sports. If you want to bet on golf, MMA, boxing, this would be the site for you. So head to the site today. You can do it on your mobile device or you can do it on your desktop. You see Jarvis is on his mobile, I'm on my desktop. So you can catch betonline.net anywhere you want to because that's how we do. And remember, BetOnline is where the game starts.
No doubt about it. Where the game starts, we know tonight with Kyle Wright. But a guy that's a mound after him tomorrow, I know this is kind of a situation where you kind of don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I think as we get ready to approach that trade deadline, I think it's something we have to talk about. Is this a do or die game for Ian Anderson? Because we know that we talked about the Braves potentially needing an arm with the way Charlie Morton has performed and how Ian Anderson has been performing. Like he's been struggling as of late. So is this a do or die game for Ian Anderson to say, hey, Alex Anthopoulos, I'm ready. I was just having a little issues, but I'm ready to roll. I'm back.
Exactly. Yes. And he has shown us maybe once or twice this season the shades of brilliance that he showed us last season. But more often than not, it's been games like 5 runs given up, 7 runs given up, 4 and 5 walks a game, short outings like the 3-inning outing from the last go round. So if we see that, you can't help but think, or because we've seen that, you can't help but think this might be a do or die game for Ian Anderson because Alex Anthopoulos has decisions to make and he only has about 72 hours to figure it out one way or the other pretty much. So, or a little bit over 72 hours. It'll be 72 hours by the time Ian Anderson finishes that game tomorrow, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I believe when you, especially if you've got Kyle Wright and you've got Max Fried sandwiching you, right? You assume that Kyle Wright is going to give you the goods because, hey, he's leading the National League in wins, right? So you assume that he's just going to keep that train moving. And then Max Fried, may have had a little bit of an off time the last go round, but again, Max Fried bounces back pretty much better than anyone in the starting rotation. Like you said, Spencer Strider has added to the arsenal. So we think he's good. But now, Jarvis, you're looking at not one, but 2 question marks for Alex Anthopoulos. So it might be very, very difficult for him if Ian Anderson does not step up his game Saturday, not to at least field some calls and take some calls to say, hey, we got a couple people, Marcelo's, we got a couple people that we can package for you if you ever pitch
Smith. Hey, I got Will Smith. He's a savvy veteran.
Yes, exactly. And you might have to throw Kyle Muller in there. You hate it, but you know you got to throw in the goods. But yeah, Ian Anderson, I think, Jarvis, is a do or die game.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be because, like I said, he's been struggling as of late. And Alex Anthopoulos is the type of guy, he's not going to sit around and wait and try to figure it out. That's what Brian Snicker's for. That's why I kind of like the yin and yang of Alex Anthopoulos and Brian Snicker. Brian Snicker is going to give you every opportunity to prove that you still got it or you still have your stuff, as he likes to like to say.
Yes.
And Alex Anthopoulos is the type of guy like, hey, man, I got to be prepared for this dude not to do it. You know what I mean? And it's not an indictment against Ian Anderson. It's just the fact that this is where we are. As a general manager, I have to think towards the future. I have to think towards the immediate future, which is right now trying to win this division, and I got to think about long term as well. So I think that it is something that we definitely have to keep an eye on as we get closer to the trade deadline. Like I said, it's coming up on August 2nd, which is Tuesday. So we got quite a Alex Anthopoulos has some time to kind of figure it out and get his mind right. Now, speaking of, you're wondering why I'm sitting up in my truck doing the show. I am literally out here in the parking lot in Flowery Branch, just coming from Falcons practice. So obviously, I got something I got to get off my chest. I couldn't wait to get home. We'll tell you about that next on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. Don't go anywhere.